Well, thank you for attending our webinar this morning. We are going to have a little bit of information to cover. So let's get right to it. Our next webinar will be on the 5th at 10 a.m. And we should have the barcode gun to be released at that point. So we're hoping to be able to show and tell the barcode gun at that during that meeting. All right, well, let's just bring up our release note manager. And if we come through what we've done in the last little bit, I think the last one we talked about was the 10.4 one. So we fixed a lot of things in the My Work and unimport and things like that for My Work. I'm not going to cover and show all the different changes. We did the ability to add in the new retired templates for the My Work and fixed a couple of other issues that came through. You can just read about those. I don't want to cover those. The ones I do want to cover are in here. We did a whole bunch of little screen fix-ups on different things. Main thing we did was we changed how the notes control worked, and that caused a little bit of an issue on certain reports and a couple of other things that, again, once we changed it over. A lot of these things are coming up because I've been doing. One of the things I wanted to talk about today is the fact that we now have almost everything in our system has a video. So as I've been making these videos, I've been finding these little miscellaneous issues in just the visual on the screens. And so a lot of times I just have them fix that real quick, just to clean it up and make it, kind of the way I want to do. So in here, we changed fringe spread was a big change that's coming up that you'll be using. So any account references or not, we had a place where somehow somebody had a lowercase account number on a post from, we're not sure how they got it, but it was in their database and it wasn't doing a spread to that lowercase account control or account code in the GLTrans. So we modified that to make that, so it's not sensitive anymore to the fact that it was, lowercase. So it wasn't, being able to put those, spreading the fringe to them. We cleaned up a lot of issues in print barcode labels, but I'm not, there's not a whole lot of people using it. So I don't think we want to cover it. The ones I do want to cover is this one here, where we've moved the delete individual and delete all buttons, and we've changed, how we work with delete all feature so that we have a little bit more information, and it's a lot harder to just go through the delete all. Some of you may have ran into this, some of you may not. So I'm going to go in and cover. We're just going to go into, let's just make a simple one. We're going to go into a payables post. The first thing you'll notice is delete all used to be down here right next to delete individual. We've moved the buttons themselves away from each other so that makes it harder to accidentally hit the delete all. And when you do hit a delete all, you have to answer the word, you have to type in the letters yes in order to delete it, just to really ensure you don't want to. And I can't delete it because obviously this is a paid journal, but you get the idea. And then it, finally will ask you if a description that we keep track of why you're deleting this journal. Those are just for security purposes, and as well as this will keep it from being an accidental, oops, I deleted everything when I really didn't mean to. So, we put that in place on payables post, payroll post, inventory post, general ledger post. Let's see, a couple of our little miscellaneous places we've done it. We've also removed some of the other delete alls, like again on payables post. There used to be a delete all the distribution records. We got rid of that because it's not usually something people want to do. So we wanted to make sure that we're, trying to make things a little bit harder to make a mistake on that. So do we have any questions about how that was put together and how that's working for that update? The other things we did was in here that was important is, let's see. Yeah, inventory. Inventory post had a couple of interesting issues that we just fixed. One of them was inventory used to have the ability to, if you went into inventory post, you would just go okay, and I really don't know what the codes are, so we'll pick something in here. Oh, let's see what we have. I like this one here. This is a nice one. And that's going to go on we're picking here, back holder. Okay, so in an inventory charge, you're able to come in here and modify this number to, you used to be able to modify the number to be an incomplete number and it would take it. So in other words, I could do this. And then I could hit save, and save used to take it, now save stops. The other thing we did is if so the other thing we did that used to do is used to be able to come back here and edit this, and if I needed to make a new account number, I could do it right from here. And it would ask you about a new account number. Now it doesn't. We don't. We've pretty much removed the automated adding a new account number just because you mistyped something. We removed that because it was getting too easy to get corrupted account numbers in here. So now the only way to do it is through account maintenance in here. To come into here and actually do it if you have access to do that. We also make, this has the appropriate access rights assigned to it. So I'm going to just hit cancel on this one. Go back to the 0. So these were bigger changes we've done. We're going to be migrating the auto change to adding a new account number in a lot of places where we won't allow it anymore. You got to do it now only through AccountMate. Just because the account numbers are getting, there's so many account numbers and it's too easy to get a bad one and then not know why till the end of the year certain things didn't quite get properly attested to, and it's 9 times out of 10 it's just because somebody typed in, instead of 510, they typed in 501, and just transposed it, and now all of a sudden it created that brand new account number, and it's like, well, what the heck's that all about? Again, so we're trying to make it a little bit harder to change the chart of accounts than it used to be. All right, any questions about that update that I'm talking about? The next thing I want to talk about is the couple of changes we did for state trunk line. If we go back to general ledger, state trunk line budget, update state trunk line totals. A change we did in here was we modified where when you click on maintain budgets, it brings up the enhanced budget one we put together. Instead of the older one, we used to bring up the old Delphi one there. Now we're bringing up the this one here that's been enhanced for the new MDOT. But that also brings me to another point. During this time, given that you are now on, most of you, this screen doesn't really reflect it, but most of you are on your 2023 fiscal year now because you'll be submitting your October bill. You should be resetting your bill number to 1 and the fiscal year to 2023 before you calculate and produce that bill for October. it shouldn't be bill number 10. It really should be set back to 1 because it's your first bill for the fiscal year of 2023. Some places don't like that, and yeah, I suppose if MDOT's still willing to allow you to do bill 10, bill 11, and bill 12 for 2023, and then go back to bill 1, I don't know, but the proper way is, of course, making it bill number 1 for October and fiscal year 2023. So make sure you adjust that with whichever way, you've got your settings with MDOT to be there, but it's just kind of an FYI. Make sure you do that before you do your October billing. Otherwise, certain internal information will still use a 3-character code instead of 4. We base our 4-digit code on the fiscal year of 2023 or greater. Then we'll use the 4-digit codes. Otherwise, we use the 3-digit codes. All right. Any questions on that?
We did have a question.
Oh, okay.
Is there a way to change the report of expenditures for trunk line page 1 to eliminate the codes that do not have money budgeted to them?
Could you just add a report parameter question to not include items with a 0 budget? Again, I hesitate because that report's been used by so many people with so many settings that I don't really want to make an adjustment to it until we replace it. But we can look at something like that. I can turn that over to Brad, and he can kind of look at if we want to change it and add one with a 0 budget. 0 budget, yeah. I kind of think that might be a better way. What you're talking about, Lisa, it might be better than pulling it out of the actual budgeting, because you may eventually need those new codes, and it's a pain to get the right, to get a name that. One of the things that MDOTs have asked us is to try to keep all of our names similar, or very close to what they call it. So when they're talking to you on the phone for a problem, it's apples and oranges. It's not apples and oranges, it's apples and apples. In other words, if you're saying, oh, my, TZ budget 3 is wrong, they don't know what that is. But if you say their best way to come up with a good example. If you say bump removal was wrong, they'll know what bump removal is, and they'll know that that's the 1080 account number, and they'll be able to, help you. But if your system, for some reason, you keyed in here, you change this to something else, then it's like, oh, I don't, whatever you change is what's going to print on the report. So they're going to look at that and go, what the heck is, whatever it is, wart removal. I don't know, whatever you called it. You get the idea, though. I mean, if these descriptions don't match kind of what MDOT has, it makes it more difficult for the MDOT people to help, and it takes just a lot of extra time to dig to finally figure out that it's a 1080 account number, instead of just being able to say bump removal and everybody's talking the same page, same language at that point. So a lot of, like I said, these were all done by our MDOT transition program. Unless you didn't use our MDOT transition program, then you've put in your own set of budget items, if you would. But yes, I do think the parameter does make sense, and I would like I don't know if we'd be able to. One of the things is some of these things are sometimes difficult to do in a report because you got to pull it out of the piece, but I'll look into it, and I think that's a better way to go, though. All right, any other questions on the state trunk line? Let's see.
Hey, George.
Yes.
I might have missed this, but when I was updating budget last week, I noticed the 3-digit numbers are still in the tree.
Yeah.
Did I miss a step somewhere, or how do I get rid of those now that we're not using those anymore?
If you're absolutely positive you're not going to be going backwards in time to do most things, then we would want you to go back, and in the MDOT budget or MDOT transition program, there was a final step, which was remove the 3-digit.
Okay. All right. So I did miss a step in there. Okay.
It was to retire. When you retired the 3-digit codes in there, it would retire your account numbers. You would retire the it would pull the 3-digit ones out of the budget report. Basically, the reason you're seeing them is they're still in here. If you go back to here, you'll still have your 3 digits in here.
Yeah, is there any way to get rid of them in there?
Yeah, you can just highlight them and say delete.
Delete? Okay, because
I mean, you can do that. I mean, there's no difference in what we're doing. So
okay, all right. Well, because there was prior activity, I didn't know if those deleting those was gonna.
yeah, this one doesn't look at prior activity on the things,
Okay.
although I
All
don't
right.
know why it's not deleting, but I'll go ahead and hit save. Yeah, it should have deleted this one. There you go. Just a little delay while it was looking at the database.
Okay,
Okay, but
All right.
yeah, so it's not the speediest way. The speediest way is you just run the MDOT transition. Tools. You have disable all activities.
okay, all right.
Pretty straightforward. One button
Okay.
press. All right, so that's what those are the things that I have for that. That's probably what's going on for you.
Okay, thank you.
Inactive field. You mean in the budget area? In here. Our problem has always been in that when we do that is if we made something in the MDOT where it was inactive on here, the report would still have to show it if there was activity, even though it's marked as inactive. So I think the better one is, if your budgets are 0, then we can pull it out and call that a day. But we still have to show it. If there's activity, we have to show it. Even if your state budget's 0, if there is activity to that account number for the period you're reporting on, we do need to show the line item. Whether it's, so I'm not sure we want to throw an active inactive here. I think the better idea is to have a parameter in the report that suppresses $0 amounts. But we can discuss that if you want at a different time. But for now, the first answer I think is, in my mind, is the better is the report having the parameter to not show any of the $0 budget items. So that way you're just seeing what has activity at that point.
Yeah, hey
Go
George,
ahead.
as long
Yeah.
as because we do run into a situation where MDOT does not put a budget amount in a line item, but we may end up using it during the year. So
Yeah, right. You need to be reporting on it. You need to see it in the report. So
even if it's 0 budget line, in the program
well,
here,
what I meant by 0 budget was, even though it doesn't really matter what's here, it's going to be based on activity.
okay, all right.
But the thing is the report shows everything that's in here. So
right.
the first question I had was, how do I limit what the report shows? And the first answer I had was, well, remove them from here and they won't show. But if that, obviously that's not the greatest answer, because it turns out that probably the better answer is changing a parameter on that report to say suppress the ones that are 0.
Okay.
As
all
an
right.
option.
Okay. When you were mentioning budget 0, that's what caught my ear. So
Yeah, I understand. But I think the report is most people don't play with that report, but some people, just print it off and want to keep it. So if they've got 22 pages of zeros, what's the point of that instead of just, 1 page of, activity? But that's kind of why I'm hesitating, because that report's, it's not even, MDOT won't even take that. You could send the report to MDOT and they're going to smile sweetly and say, what's this? They don't receive paper reports anymore. Yeah, exactly. So it'd be nice. Like I said, it's a nice overcapping report over what happened with Trunkline, and how much do we expect to see coming in from your Trunkline billing position. So yes, I agree. It's a nice report for something like that, and I don't want to get rid of it. Let's clean it up and make it so you can suppress the zeros. That way it's only one page, because otherwise they got to go to page 3. At the bottom of page 3, there's 2 items that actually have a dollar amount this month. And then other months it's going to switch around because of the, different activity has different codes. I want to transition, and we talked about the MDOT component. Just let you know, this year, for real quick, I'll be sending out an email on holiday hours. Just the big one, the only kind of big thing is normally we have the Wednesday off before Thanksgiving. We'll be in the office on that Wednesday now. So we'll just be off on the 24th and 25th of November. And then Christmas holiday, where we have the Friday to the 23rd off, but we're back in the office on the 28th. And we have the January 2nd off, of course, like everybody. So, but like I said, I'll put out official notice on that, and we'll update our website to show something of that. Just so you got a good understanding of what our hours are. Then that brings us to the final topic, which is an enhancement we did, or a kind of a major component we did to the website, to the Pro Fund Accounting web, MyWorks. I call it a lot of things. It's MyWorks, to the MyWorks site. So this is the beta version of it, the beta site. That's the only place where I have valid. So if I sign in with COG2, and now a password, we do our login. We have this here, but a lot of places were asking, they would like to see like a status list. So we added this time card status to show, these are the days that he has a time card in and it's been approved. It would show also the imported time cards that he has, as well as when he's missing a time card, for any days that he doesn't have a time card in, it goes back to missing. And I believe this goes back 60 days or 90 days. Can't remember. It shows the last 90 days. That way they have, your employees have a chance to kind of see the week and say, oh, I missed a day that week and I need to go get a time card in for it. Sign in as a supervisor. I think that's the password. Yep. We did make the missing days now are very accurate as far as days that you have for employees that don't have a time card. So that was another big update we did on the missing column. So that should be, relatively accurate. Even when it's imported, it will show that it's, the person has you have time cards for that day. Thank you for attending. Like I said, our next meeting will be December 5th, and hopefully we should have the barcode gun to kind of show and tell during that meeting.
You are now working smarter with Pro Fund Accounting. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more content like this.